Welcome back to the second video here on the Four Real Movie Club, and we're going to be talking about The Incredible Hulk, one of the films a part of Phase 1. So, let's kick it off. We'll start with you, Sam. What do you think about The Incredible Hulk? Your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were this was, oh my God, like above and beyond better than the Ang Lee Hulk from 2003. A lot of people have this movie on their like worst, like the top bad film of the MCU. I personally think it's incredibly underrated. Definitely not one of the best. But
Incredibly
I,
underrated.
but like, I don't think it's the huge stinker that people say it is. I think Edward Norton was solid. I think Liv Tyler was solid. A little tongue tied because I can't say it was great. All I can say is it wasn't as bad as people think it is.
Eddie, what were your first thoughts on The Incredible Hulk?
Are we allowed to say the F word and stuff like that?
It's encouraged.
Fuck
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, fuck this utter piece of shit. Like, I cannot believe a movie that cost apparently $150 million would just suck this bad in all sorts of aspects. Like, just fuck it. That's my initial reaction. You want to know why though, or do you want to like
Yeah,
later?
sure. Go into why, because we got to keep these ones short, unfortunately.
Okay, no, cool. Okay. On principle, this movie sucks ass to me because, well, they portrayed Brazil in a very unrealistic fashion. And I'm not saying like, oh, they showed like, oh, it's poor people and everything's like a slum. No, it's exactly like that. It's a fucking slum. But here, okay. So apparently, they didn't hire a single Brazilian actor. Like when Bruce Banner's at the factory fixing that thing, he's the guy that walks up to him, supposedly the manager or whatever. He's all like, that dude is so like, I don't know where he's from, like it's totally lousy Portuguese. And then when he gets into this mess with these thugs or whatever that work at the factory, that guy is so like Mexican, Guatemalan or whatever, Cuban. I don't even know. Like, dude, like, what are you doing?
I'm pretty sure
Which
the
is
guy that
funny.
owns
Which
the
which,
pizza place is
which is
Brazilian.
funny because if I'm not mistaken, they got the jujitsu instructor, MMA instructor, Grace something. When he's teaching Bruce Banner to breathe and control his emotions and all that, that was solid. Even the breathing technique was solid. Um, and it's just on and on and on. And if a whole like U.S. SWAT team suddenly appeared over there, don't you think that the drug dealers will like just open fire on them? Like honestly, that's why the cops don't go there because it's war otherwise, and the drug dealers have a weaponry that's even better than the police's or the that matches the armies. Have you seen City of God? Watch City of God, and you see what I'm talking about. Um, Anyways, there's plenty more. There's a giant list. I'm not gonna go on and on and on. But anything to do with Brazil, like, oh yeah, no, hang on. He turns into the Hulk and he beats the crap out of everyone. And he runs away from the factory, and all of a sudden he wakes up in fucking Guatemala. Like, and even if you run 100 miles per hour for precisely 24 hours, you're not gonna get that far because it's like 3,000 miles away, 4,000 miles away or something. And I doubt somebody would give the Hulk a lift, like chopper or something. So I mean, it just goes on and on. Like he's a bum. All of a sudden, the kid gives him like 10 cents, and he buys like all these clothes, and he walks across the border to where is it? New York or whatever, dude. Next.
Tony, what were your initial thoughts on The Incredible Hulk?
I love this movie. It has an amazing portrayal of Brazilian culture. No, I'm kidding. Incredible Hulk is one of the two weakest films out of this whole set. There's 6 movies here, and there's 3 of them that are on the stronger end, and 2 of them that are on the weaker end. Incredible Hulk is definitely one of the weaker ones. It's far better than Ang Lee's Hulk, but there are a couple things that Ang Lee's Hulk seems to understand a little bit more, and I think if you combine both of those movies, you get an awesome film. And when you take the bad from Ang Lee's and the bad from this Incredible Hulk, you can see that there's somebody who is in charge that doesn't know how to do Hulk. And I'm not saying that necessarily I know all the answers and everything, but there's a problem with the Hulk. And the fact that we've gotten one universally recognized as terrible movie with the Ang Lee Hulk, and one that's the weaker out of all of the Phase 1 cinematic films, and then we haven't had a single Hulk movie since then. Clearly there's an issue with people not understanding how to do a Hulk movie, and this is not immune to that at all.
Tony, we'll stick with you. When it comes to this film, to me, this is a huge thing because, like you had just previously said, that there's no sequel, and when we get to, there's no Planet Hulk. When we get to the Avengers, you'll see that the casting is kind of thrown away. Anyway, how did you guys, Tony, we'll start with you. How did you feel about the casting for the Incredible Hulk?
Edward Norton is a better Hulk than Mark Ruffalo.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, he is easily a better Bruce Banner, too. And the only thing that is an upgrade from Avengers to that is the CGI and stuff. But another thing that's an upgrade, this is comparing it to the Ang Lee one. I love Jennifer Connelly. I think that she's gorgeous. I think that she's great in a lot of different things. Eric Bana is good too in a lot of different things and stuff, but those two just didn't fit the mold. Liv Tyler is somebody that I've never been a big fan of, and she is by far an amazing Betty Ross. She's one of the highlights of the movie. I don't even like her, and she's a highlight of the film. Some of the other casting decisions are kind of meh. I mean, they could have gone with different people for General Ross. They could have gone with somebody different for Doc Samson. They definitely could have gone with somebody different for Abomination too, and I like Tim Roth. But at the very core of this is a movie of Banner and Ross, Betty Ross. And those two just are great. They never should have let them go.
Eddie, what were your feelings on the casting for this movie?
Did I mention that? Okay, he lives in Rio, which is like 2,000 miles away from the Amazon, where the flower is. It's like saying, like, oh man, I need like the spider in California, and then you go move to New York to get the spider. You know, like, it makes no sense. Anyways, Edward Norton kicks ass.
The casting of that flower was terrible.
Edward Norton. Yeah, Edward Norton really kicks ass. I like him in pretty much any movie, and he's no exception here. Liv Tyler, she's good for those kind of offbeat, dramatic movies, but I don't really care for her in a lot of big budget movies. She was all right though. I think Tony's right. You know, like, I think between Edward Norton and Liv Tyler, there was something good happening. This is the worst Tim Roth role I've ever seen. I love this guy. He's a great actor. He's done some amazing work. But this is just, what a lame role for him. I don't know why he chose to do this.
You haven't seen
someone else a little more. I don't know. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy his character. As far as William Hurt, I don't know. I guess it's typecast, I suppose. Like, makes sense.
Sam, what were your thoughts on casting?
That's it.
For me, jumping off of something Eddie said, I actually tried to research this, and even though I couldn't confirm, because they didn't have like the actor's birthplace in a lot of areas, the only person in that whole movie that was actually Brazilian was the girl who was in there for like 5 minutes. That's like, is this the love interest? No, it's not.
Yeah, she really is Brazilian. Like,
yeah, that's the only one. That's the
you can tell by the faces. And there's this one woman who yells like, "Hey kid, come to dinner." That was genuine Portuguese, but I bet it was like on location at the moment. Like, hey, say something in Portuguese.
Yeah, but Liv Tyler, like Tony said, I think was great as Betty Ross. Betty Ross isn't supposed to be like Tony Stark. She's not like a highlight, an A-lister, the draw of the movie, but she was perfect for what she needed to be for the movie. I thought the I don't know too many names very well, but the actor who played Thunderbolt Ross, I thought was great, but was not utilized correctly. I don't think it was the fault of the actor. I think it was the fault of the writers. And Edward Norton, like Tony had said, he's better to me as the Hulk than Mark Ruffalo in a lot of ways, other than the CGI, and we're just getting that out of the way. I always call Banner in The Incredible Hulk the Incredible Hulk, and I call him in the Avengers Gorilla Hulk, because for some reason they decided instead of him standing up on two legs and like looking like a menacing, pissed off green monster, they've got him on all fours sometimes. He's hunched over a lot. He's more animalistic, where he's like looking around everywhere, like what's going on. Like maybe that could have been a better Hulk, but like I'm so used to the Hulk just being like pure rage that this Hulk seemed just angrier to me than the one in the Avengers. He just kind of seemed like you literally like filmed a gorilla for 30 minutes and then like put the Hulk over it and let it go. So casting for me, mostly right on. Blonsky, I thought it was a little weird that they got an English actor, but like if you read into the background of the character, it's like he was adopted or they were Russian, but then they moved to London or something. So they got away with it.
To give a little bit of facts before we move on to the next topic, the runtime of the film is 112 minutes. It was released about a month after, on June 13th, 2008, after Iron Man. The budget for this film was $150 million, and the box office only brought in $263.4 million. So not as big a hit as Iron Man, but at the same time, still did good.
Blame that
Sam
on Ang Lee's.
Yeah. Oh, fuck Ang Lee's. Sam, we're going to stick with you. Same question we had asked with Iron Man. And I'm going to ask this again. And it's kind of a two-parter. Yeah. Did it stay true to the comics, to do it justice? And how do you feel about Ed Norton taking a rewrite at it?
Well, I'll answer that first. I don't know what the script looked like before he got his hands on it. Mm-hmm. So I personally, other than hearing rumors, I can't say for sure what his touch on it was. I would hope that if it wasn't there, that he would have brought the piano Incredible Hulk song from the TV show, that might have been thrown in his idea, because I loved that when I heard it. Like, that was something I felt like, it's not that the TV show was part of it, but it's a good throwback to something that people would have remembered. It was a good somber atmosphere. It was perfect for that moment. So I can't touch too much on his rewrite. I know that's the reason why we have Mark Ruffalo now. And I'm not going to say, I know I said I preferred Norton, but I'm not going to say Ruffalo is bad in any sense of the word. He's great as Banner now. I would have liked to have seen him come back. But as far as the second part, which was staying true to the comics, more so than Iron Man, this one seems to stay true to the Ultimate Marvel side of things, where Banner was working on a version of the super soldier serum and an accident happens with it. He tests it on himself and he becomes the Hulk. So I thought that this movie stayed a little bit more true, where the government's hunting him, Ross is hunting him, Betty's involved, even had a little Doc Samson thrown in there. This one, more than Iron Man, stuck to some version of the comics.
Tony, did you feel that the movie justified, and any thoughts on the Edward Norton rewrite?
Same thoughts about the Norton rewrite. I don't know what it was before he touched it. He might have ended up screwing it up more than helping, but he might have ended up making some of the bad things go away. Who knows? I kind of tend to think maybe he was more detrimental to it than a positive, because the movies that have come afterward have kind of, sort of fixed some of the problems that are in this film. Who knows, though? I mean, he could have been taking a pile of shit and polishing it up, and still serving a pile of shit, but at least it's prettier. And as far as straying to the source material, another situation with Iron Man. They took some liberties, and for the most part, they were good. I mean, they didn't have to have too many things redone now that they had done the Incredible Hulk film before. Not the Incredible Hulk before, but you know what I mean. So they already kind of set a precedent for a lot of different things, and the audience was aware of Hulk a little bit more than they were with Iron Man. which is actually one of the big positives about this film, is they took the idea of a requel, where it's a sequel in a lot of the sense to the Ang Lee one, but it redoes a lot of things, so it's not a full reboot, and that was really smart of them. So it's kind of true to both the source material in the comics and a little bit to the movie that came beforehand. I like what they did with a lot of that stuff. They didn't have some of the mistakes that the other film did, where it was kind of like the bright green Hulk, and that he just kept getting bigger and bigger. Hulk doesn't need to keep getting bigger and bigger. He gets stronger and stronger. So if you look at the two films that they had done, this is definitely more of an Incredible Hulk film. And overall, I mean, I think that they captured the spirit pretty well.
Eddie, what were your thoughts on the keeping true to a comics or doing it justice, and possibly the Ed Norton rewrite?
Well, here's the thing. I'm just reading that Edward Norton apparently is a huge Hulk fan. So he understood that you have to remain true to the roots of Hulk, but not only, I quote, not just appeal to 13-year-old boys. Ed and I both see superheroes as the new Greek gods. Leterrier, which is one of the writers, I think, said this. And so the rewrite was actually probably a very good thing. Who knows what they had in store before that. Also, just I don't know if this falls into the same category, but Liv Tyler also discussed a lot of the dynamics between Bruce and Dr. Ross while the rewrite was going on. I don't know how much input she had as well, but even if it was minimal, it happened as well. And I think it was probably for the better. I mean, the bottom line is if the studio went down with it, then that's cool.
All right, Sam, what we're going to do now is final thoughts, high point, low point, and a ranking 1 to 10.
Final thoughts. I still stand by my statement that I don't think this is the steaming turd that everybody says it is. But on the same token, I completely agree that this is one of the black sheeps of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Unfortunately, I think this is why we've never really seen any Betty references, any mention of Ross, any mention of really anything. Even in the Avengers and other little side, nobody really talks about it. The only thing we got was a little name drop in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they mentioned that Blonsky is currently in cryo-freeze, which actually, very happy they actually kept this villain alive, because there's not too many things in this universe that can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. And if you let Abomination loose, that could make for another interesting movie. High point, I think, has to be the dedication to science, where they were saying it's not just that he turns into this weird green monster. There's reasons why he's green. There's reasons why he's angry. There's reasons why he transforms the way he does. I appreciated these just from a science side. But I would have to say the low point would probably just have to be generally the film. The high points were still paling in comparison to the midpoints of Iron Man. So there other than the Hulk Abomination fight, nothing was too much of a yeah moment. And even the final fight didn't feel like it lasted all that long. So I never actually said this. For Iron Man, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. This one, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10. I liked it more than just middle of the road, but not enough to say it was an amazing movie.
Eddie, what were your final thoughts, high point, low point, and ranking 1 to 10?
Yeah, final thoughts. Okay, fine. It's it's a good movie, right? I mean, they got Lou Ferrigno in it. I mean, just that there's that Easter egg, and he voiced the Hulk. Actually, I don't know if you guys knew this. Apparently, he's the one who said Hulk smash. He recorded that in the studio, so that's pretty cool.
They paid him in pizza.
Yeah. In real
Russian
life.
brother.
In real life. You think so?
No,
No,
in
it's
the movie.
Yeah, I know the movie.
They might have. Who knows?
But Anyhow, the high point of the movie, I really like I don't know, I like the Liv Tyler, Edward Norton kind of thing going on. I think they had good chemistry. I think it worked a lot. And I usually don't really care for this kind of stuff in action movies or comic book movies, but it totally worked. And the low point is just the complete lack of attention in some production aspects, which I have repeated here ad nauseum. Yeah, but on that principle, I have to give this movie a 1. That's it. Yeah, no, fuck it. I don't give a fucking shit. You don't spend $150 million in creating bogus science, which is also kind of crappy. And on top of that, I know it's a superhero movie, whatever. I cast aside totally. I would normally give it a 6, but for the love of God, you don't just like who put the stuff together. I know the logistics behind on location and hiring people, but my God, make a CG, Brazil and hire like 3 actors. You can surely afford. I mean, they're not like. It's not like Brazilian Union is too expensive, you know what I mean? So, and there are some great actors, so just hire them, for crying out loud. Even if you get an MMA fighter to act as an actor, so to speak. But yeah, on that principle, I'll just give it a 1. Just fuck it.
I just want to say, now that's a 1, that's the lowest rating we've given any movie, and One Crazy Summer is now better than that.
I just also want to point out that I actually thought the science was good, and he thought the science was bad in the exact same movie.
Yeah, but what did you think about the portrayal of Brazil?
I've never been there. I don't go anywhere that's hot.
It made Virginia seem smart, which I think is stupid. I gotta say biased. My bad.
Oh, no. In length, like in distance. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, and he ended up in Vancouver by the end of the movie, so I can see that. Tony, what were your final thoughts, high point, low point, and ranking 1 to 10?
I'm going to give this a 6.5 just because it does have a lot of replay value. It's not a great film. The execution of the film is what's the flaw. It seems like it's something that it needed one more rewrite from somebody who really understands how to do things. Maybe get like a combination of a Kevin Feige who gets the universe and maybe I don't want to just say like Joss Whedon, but somebody who's just a better writer. That would have helped this film out a lot. Favorites and least favorite parts and stuff like that. Favorite is one of my favorite parts of the whole film, other than the quick reference to the old theme, which, by the way, I don't like that TV show. And when people keep talking about how that TV show should be brought back and they should do that kind of again, no, don't do it. That TV show is just popular because it was in a time period where that could be popular. Same thing for Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. We don't need a Wonder Woman TV show. Other than that, though, I would have to say one of my favorite parts is the scene with the thunderstorm, because that showcases quite a bit about what the character is about. You know, he's still just this angry brute, but then there's Betty to calm him down. And as calm as he is when he's around Betty in that scene, thunder strikes and you hear that clap and he just is like, "Ah, fuck you," you know, that kind of thing. That's the way that Hulk should be. You know, he's like as simple-minded as you can get and just pure anger, but love is the one thing that separates them. Least favorite, if it's not just Doc Samson being a complete pushover pussy, it's got to be the fact that when they wrote this film, they either knew what they were doing or they didn't know, and this was a subconscious choice, but nobody seems to care that nobody refers to anybody by anything but these like weird pronouns. Like, you have to keep going by the general and my dad and whatever. No, he's General Ross. You can say Ross, it's okay. When you've got Dr. Bruce Banner, you can refer to him as Bruce, you can refer to him as Dr. Banner, you can refer to him as Banner and all that. I think there's like twice in the whole film they call him Banner. Instead, he's it, or the thing, or what was that, or him. The entire movie, every character is in this thing, and that's something that has just irked me from the very, very first time I saw the film. I'm in their movie theater and I'm squirming going, "Can you just fucking say Banner?" Like, you know, It's a stupid thing to be caught up on, but every time I watch this movie, it irks me more and more, and that is just, fuck you, Marvel, for doing that.
Sweet. So, I don't know, I had a brain fart there. When it comes to the For Real Movie Club, we're going to be moving on to our 3rd out of 6 movies. Yes, it's a long one this month, guys. In the Phase 1 and For Real Movie Club proceedings. That was The Incredible Hulk. Stick around. Click the next YouTube video. Iron Man 2 is coming up here on the For Real Movie Club.